to Strategy Sessions by Thirsty Bandit Consulting, Episode 20, Customer Engagement.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Strategy Sessions. I am Corey Kraychek, and as always, I'm joined by Rachel Brown. Rachel, welcome to episode number 20 of Strategy Sessions.
I literally was thinking about this earlier. It's like 20 episodes, and we started this in June,
Yeah,
June,
June of 2025.
right?
Yeah.
I think like the time we were just talking about like how quickly like the weeks have gone, but I think when you're like 20 episodes, 20 weeks, June, we're 6 months in, and it feels like no time at all has passed. Like I still feel like this is like episode 5. Like we're in the beginning of our journey, but we're 20 episodes in.
I always feel like I'm in some kind of weird time vortex where time
Yes.
moves both extremely rapidly and at a snail's
Slowly.
speed. So I don't, it both astounds me and then doesn't really surprise me that much. I'm sort
That's
of a
fair.
walking contradiction
Yeah.
when it comes to this stuff. And I feel it with my kids, right? Like,
Yeah.
you get the reminders on your phone when it's like this happened 15 years ago and you're like, "Oh my God, look at the little guys," and
Mhm.
then you're like, "Yeah, it feels like that." And then it also is like, "No, it feels like that was just yesterday."
Yeah,
So,
like I blinked and now we're
yep,
here and
yep.
it's crazy.
It's been a really fun ride so far. I mean, we've got to chat about a lot of really interesting topics. We've had some really incredible guests who have been really generous with their time and sharing their areas of expertise. And then you and I have had the ability to do a number of these just on our own where we've we've had the ability to talk about things that we've been really passionate about and really the foundational pieces of what we think the work that we do in consulting encapsulates. And I think it's fitting for this episode 20 that we're landing on another topic that we haven't really covered too much. I mean, we've covered tangentially through other sessions, but um, we've had the ability to talk about customer engagement strategy, and you have another opportunity to write an article for the Grapevine magazine. So some of you may have accessed this podcast through a link through Grapevine. Some of you may have not. If you haven't had the chance to read the article, it will be in the January February issue. So that's really exciting, Rach. And I guess what is it about customer engagement strategy that sort of motivated you to write an article like this, though?
Well, I think spending time, especially in this consulting field, right? Like, and watching these wineries start from the ground up and all of these pieces that go into it, these are kind of, I think, like the natural progressions as we start seeing like our clients start to build and go through these different things. It's like, what's, apart from the setting up a tasting room and hiring and like doing all these things, there are other parts of this that are important. So, identifying yourself, the branding, the content, like creating these programs, like this is all a part of like what they need to kind of focus on. And I've been watching it and I've been putting in input. I just had to help do an entire performance and business plan and like what does this look like? And it's really kind of got me thinking more on the other side of this instead of just like education and execution. Like these are all the things now that I'm watching them go through and that I get to help them do. So I was kind of like, this feels kind of fitting right now. This is my life currently.
Yeah, it's fun for me to watch you grow professionally on this side of the business because and as we've highlighted in your bio and so many other topics, I mean, you've been on the front line, tasting room management, wine education,
Mhm.
SOM training, and all of that is really fundamental. But understanding business strategy and
Mhm.
organizational structure and how to get from point A to point B is also critically important. And so it's really exciting for me to be part of that professional journey for you.
Mhm.
And so I think I was tickled pink to read the article and be able to contribute in this capacity as we sort of dissect it and talk about it. But you're right. Um, so many of our clients, right, whether they're starting a tasting room from the very beginning, from the ground up, or maybe they had just bought an asset and are trying to rethink, retool relaunch. Um, there are so many things that you have to factor in.
Mhm.
And that the old adage in business, right? And in sales in particular, is that it's so much more expensive to get a new customer than it is to retain an existing customer. And
Mhm.
I think that that's what ultimately customer engagement strategy boils down to. And I think that's what you really highlight here. And I want to kind of just dive in to some of the key topics. And I wanted to start first with your discussion about showcasing authenticity, particularly through social media,
Mhm.
because I think that is really one of the key starting points when you're talking with someone. What is going to define you as you? You know,
Mhm.
this brand is going to be a reflection of what you want to make it, what your personal values are, what the mission of the organization is. And then how is that going to be projected to the general public and to your customers, right? It's not going to be for everyone, and
Mhm.
that's okay, right? I mean, but you need to be something. You need to be someone. You need to decide what that is, and then you need to be true to it. And I think more so now than ever before, that peek behind the curtain that
Mhm.
you reference, that take a look and understand what makes us us. And we saw it, obviously in real life and in person,
Mhm.
where people, the interest in tastings combined with tours and understanding the process and sort of those fundamentals to wine education have increased in there's a level of interest that's increased over time. But social media affords you this tremendous opportunity that they don't need to leave the comforts of their own home. They can understand who you are from the comfort of their phone or their laptop or iPad, and give them that glimpse, right? And you've got that opportunity to show your value proposition in real time and all of the things that make your brand special or different than a competitor's. And so um, I think ultimately maintaining that over
Mhm.
time is what allows you to continue to engage a customer and keep them through the duration, of their life cycle. And so I love that you start the article out with that.
Well, I think that's like the foundation of everything, right? Like we've talked about this before. Core identity is everything. Everything else stems from that, from who we are, from what we believe. Like, I mean, I love personally when I'm scrolling and I have a brand pop up and it's more than just like this is our product. This is like our sustainability. This is what we're doing. These are our green and it like and you kind of get to see like okay, they are more than just whatever product they're putting out. These are the things they care about. And I love and we were able to do this. I did this at Turks. I did this at Chatsford. When you have your staff behind the camera talking too, because then you get to see like the staff as a part of it. They value their employees' opinion. They want to kind of have that FaceTime with them. You have like somebody coming in saying like, "This is what I love. This is what makes me excited." All of these things help round you out as a business. And then when you get to see it, you're like, man, like cool. They take care of their staff. They like their staff. This is what they do. This is what they believe in. This is how they position themselves. This is how they brand themselves. And it's an important thing to establish early on, especially again, to retain and then hopefully bring new customers in. Your core identity, I mean, I don't need to tell you this, you already know, is like is everything. So I feel like couldn't start the article with anything else because this is what trickles into everything else. The content that you use, the emails that you send out, the programs that you build, like what is important to you. And then we kind of get to disperse from there.
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with somebody else about travel and how, um, for me, travel, whether within the context of wine or hospitality, I mean, I use that to you seek out places that
Mhm.
their brands align with what my lifestyle preferences are.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'll stumble upon them on social media or I'll be suggested because the algorithm's so darn good at sort of figuring that out. Um, but oftentimes, my customer journey after the fact that I visit,
Mhm.
after I visit, is equally as important. And the only way that I can feel tethered to that brand is typically through social media.
Mhm.
So, I keep that passion and enthusiasm for that brand alive based upon what they're sharing, how
Yep.
they're sharing it, and making sure that it's still consistent with what I loved about it when I was there the first time. And what they don't know, but what I know typically is that I'm this clandestine brand ambassador behind the
Yep.
scenes, telling friends, sharing it. And when people say that they're traveling to that particular area, it's at the top of my list. But the
Mhm.
only reason that's the case is because I had a great experience when I was there in person. And then
Mhm.
I've continued to follow them throughout their brand's journey. And what they've been generating has been authentic to who they were when I was there. And I feel comfortable in still sharing that as a recommendation to others.
Mhm. No, 100%. That's exactly how it goes. If I'm endorsing a place and telling you to go, it's for all the above reasons that you just said. It's an important thing. It's really, really important, and it goes such a long way.
I think that dovetails into sort of your next topic too, which is
Yeah.
the user generated content, right? I mean,
Yeah.
your customers are your biggest salespeople, quite
Yep.
frankly.
They will make or break you. They'll let you know when they're upset. But I feel like again, I think this is kind of something that I touch on at the end is that like when you are I guess kind of in this industry, like, hospitality, for example, like we have more than just a job to present wine, right? I think I say we're like stewards of experiences, right? Like we are very largely responsible for what's happening in the room, how people are greeted, the flow, the vibe. Like we do that, right? And if we can do our jobs really well, then we can create that lifelong fan that's like, "Oh my god, you're visiting, you're coming in, we have to go to this place. It's my new favorite winery. There's a new tasting room, there's a new coffee shop." And you begin to kind of like build that loyalty and then you see it tenfold with other things. But if we can execute and do our jobs really well and make sure we are who we are and we stay true to that and we can execute in this way, we're going to build that anyway. And there's nothing better than having somebody that you've seen before come in and say, "Hey, my friends are visiting from out of town. We had to bring them here." And it's like, for me, that's like one of the highest compliments I can get, that y'all chose in your limited time or whatever to come here again because of the experience that you had is everything. And now they're telling their friends and their friends and their friends. And you get posts and videos and tagged and stuff and reviews. Like they kind of trickle this out into the world, right? Like it's a domino effect. One person has a good event, that next one does too. And then it goes and goes and goes. So it's really like, again, it's a very cyclical circle. If we can do this right and we know who we are and we can take the time and the dedication, then we get to bond with people, we get to have these experiences, and we get kind of fangirls for for our business, you know?
Yeah, I mean, word of mouth marketing, I mean, and that flywheel concept, right? Is you just
Mhm.
kind of get the momentum going if you're doing things right.
Yeah.
It will sort of self perpetuate. But you alluded to it at the very beginning of this section, right? When we were talking about is it's a double-edged sword because if you do it wrong, it can really negatively impact your brand for a very, very long time. And so that
Mhm.
attention to detail, the awareness that the Google review can really help or hurt your business is imperative. So you need to embrace that all the content that's being generated by your customers and your users, but you also need to be aware, very acutely aware of the perils that are associated with it, right?
Yeah.
And it may feel I've been down this road personally before, right? I mean, in the moment, right, it can feel empowering to debate jam your heels in the sand and
Yeah, hold the
take
line.
the belief that the customer isn't always right. But unfortunately, you've got to figure out a way to navigate that to ensure that you can either minimize the damage that's been done if a negative review is created. And that might be another cool topic for down the road for us, is just sort of talking about combating negative reviews and
Yeah.
bad customer experiences. I'll make a note of that,
Yeah.
for maybe,
Season 2, episode
Whoa.
1.
Right, exactly. But I mean, I've seen brands. I mean, I always crack up. There's the um, Finger Lakes, um, the hot dog stand. What's the name of that place? It's got a really cute name. On Seneca on the west side of Seneca. Oh, it'll come to me later. Anyway, they specialize. Oh, they have like a hot dog, HAUT dog, right? I mean, like that's their whole vibe is they make high end
Like,
burgers and
yeah.
yeah, gourmet hot dogs, and they have their whole bathroom is framed negative reviews for
Excellent.
how expensive they were, or how long it took. So I mean, they fully embraced it, but that is
Mhm.
absolutely part of what their brand is, and I wouldn't recommend that for for
No.
for many, right? That's a very acquired taste. So,
Yes, yes.
um, but anyway, so you know, as part of this, then you've got not only the users, sort of the just the general casual customer. Then you get the people that do this stuff for a living nowadays, right? As far as influencers are concerned. And
Mhm.
it is interesting. I don't know if you've been reading, but influencers are kind of under the gun right now. I mean, I think there's a fatigue that's
Mhm.
starting to set in,
Yep.
and the impact that influencers once wielded, even a year ago or 2 years ago, is starting to wane a little bit.
Mhm.
However, I think there are varying degrees of what an influencer is, right? I mean, you've got
Yep.
professional influencers who are sort of mercenaries that sort of take on brands and do what they want to do, and they get paid for their work. And but then you have people that actually have a passion, that are aligned with who you are. Obviously there are a lot of wine writers that sort of blend their roles. I mean, they're journalists, but they happen to do influencing work. And your section here talks about making sure you're partnering with influencers that match your brand, and I think that that is completely spot on. So, not just chasing every major influencer out there, not DMing Mr. Beast and seeing if he can show up at your winery
Yeah.
to do a contest.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, they are everywhere. You can't go on anything without having someone trying to influence you to buy something. But I think there is genuinely like a really big disconnect for those influencers that have paved the way. They've got millions of followers. They do all this stuff versus the people that are in your own backyard that just like love going to local coffee places and doing reviews, or like love going to their like neighborhood winery and going from there. And like those are the people I think that you want to tap into. One, because they're local, they know the climate, they know the clientele, they're the people that you want to bring in. They're not super swayed yet, right? Like there's not a lot of brand endorsements. Like I feel like you're getting probably like a really true blue experience from the people in your own backyard that care about like local business and supporting all of that and like putting back into your community, like capitalizing on that, I think can just go such a long way.
I think that you can also typically feel and read
Yeah,
the true level of enthusiasm and endorsement from
definitely.
somebody that cares versus somebody that's just doing it for sort of a paid promotion.
Definitely.
Uh, and so finding the right ones will ensure that if they are going to post about you, write about you, that again, going back to it's authentic. It
Mhm.
feels real because it is real.
Yep.
And so you've got to do some due diligence. You've got to do some work to see who they are, who are the
Yep.
movers and shakers in your region, but definitely starting from a regional standpoint is the way to go there, because I think you're going to get more more honest, palpable, effective marketing from it if you
Yep.
do it the right way. And then you're also the impression of your existing customer base isn't that you're selling out to people that don't care about the brand, that what you're doing is still in fact in line with who
Mhm.
you are.
Yep.
All right, we're going to pivot a little bit away from social now. I want to talk about something that as the guy with the personal email account that's still hotmail.com, that I wear as a badge of honor, more as a conversation piece at this point than anything else. But email marketing
Yeah.
is still not a dead channel, right? I mean, it's interesting that it's survived up till this point
Mhm.
and is still certainly scattershot in its approach, regardless of how much customization and automation you can do, how you can design trickle down. But the reality is, it's still a key way for businesses to communicate, particularly to existing customers.
Yeah.
Because they're going to look out for your emails. Now, I think the days of buying like massive email marketing lists or aligning with agencies or publications or um locally that will you sell you lists of all of their subscribers and hoping that if they send something out, you're going to get, some kind of ROI. I think that is the side of email marketing that has really started to phase out.
Mhm.
But personalized, custom email marketing, particularly when it's coupled with SMS or a good old fashioned phone call, um, is still effective. And you list a few of the things, and I agree. All right, new releases, that behind the scenes, take a look behind the curtain, the seasonal events, the different discounts that you can offer. Wine club. It was really interesting. One of the wine clubs I belong to from Washington State reached out to me. I received an email, and then I received a text message, and
Mhm.
then I got the Holy Trinity. I got the actual phone call from a human being,
Wow.
and they just called to wish me a happy birthday and talk about the wine club, the seasonal wine club offerings. And I saw all three of them. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, like they're putting the effort in.
Mhm.
They really are putting the effort in to try to connect with me and try to make sure that I'm happy with my subscription, and I'm going to continue to engage them as a winery. And so I thought that was really cool. But email was an important piece of it for them because it gives them the format to obviously share more and provide links and provide maybe a larger menu of options for a customer than what you're limited to in a text, and certainly what you're limited to in a phone call. They all kind of have a different. They all
Has
serve a
like a
different.
different vibe. I mean, it's cool. I don't think I've ever had anybody call me before. Like that's especially I mean now like, the iPhones like scan or like they screen your calls, but
Mhm.
like that's a really cool touch though to say like, "Hey, happy birthday. Like when are you coming back? Like we'd love to have you." Like that I think really for me, and I'm assuming probably for you, it's like cool. Like, so I'm just not like a dollar sign, or I'm not like just like a name on a club. I'm a person. And again, like you choose to endorse this winery and bring in their wines, and like it matters when you have those levels of subscriptions. So like I kind of feel like that would make me feel like a little like just like a little pleased that
Well, again, when we think about the stuff that we consult with when wineries are considering what POS system to use, and
Mhm.
does that POS system possess some degree of customer relationship management,
Yep.
CRM functionality, or should they consider Salesforce or HubSpot, or, which all do a really good job of some of this omni-channel marketing
Mhm.
that we're talking about. But at the crux of all of it is capturing customer data and
Mhm.
being able to use that very personalized customer data in various ways to make your customer feel that they truly know you,
Mhm.
right? And there's nothing that says you can't use that data on a phone call.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
very few people
Definitely.
very few people have the ability and the comfort level to engage that way. But
Mhm.
I think it does go a long way. Even if you're leaving a voicemail and you don't get the call back, it's still going to resonate, with
Yeah,
them. So,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
Makes a
consider it,
difference.
folks out there. The phone call is not dead.
No.
Nor is print mail, but I don't think we're going to cover too much of print mail today. Again, maybe a topic for
Season
season 2.
2. Look at us just building
I'm
building the
telling you,
repertoire
I'm
for next
I'm
season.
feverishly writing notes down here because I gotta start lining them up. Um, I know we've had a couple of sessions that have
Mhm.
talked about seasonal programming in the past.
Yep.
So not a surprise that this is one that came back around
Mhm.
for customer engagement. But give some of your thoughts on why seasonal programming can kind of create that urgency for customers to stay engaged with the brand.
Yeah, I think when you start getting into this time of year, right? Like goes really quick. Like the holidays, they come and they go. They're so fast. When you release programming that is finite, and we have experienced this, right? Murder Mystery is a great one to talk about for this, right? 1 month, Fridays and Saturdays only. When it's done, it's done. It creates demand. People want to come to this. They want to know, can you extend into February? Can you start it earlier? And it's, the kind of craze around it goes a really long way. It drives business. People get excited. You have people that come back every year that put it on their calendars that are like, tickets are on sale, let's move. And it creates like a now. Like if you do a program for 3 months, where is the urgency to go, right? It's like, oh, well, we don't have to go this weekend. We can go next weekend. And then next weekend turns into the following weekend. And that's business that you were missing for, it could be a month. Like they could just be tired one day and they don't want to come.
Yep.
But having that really short window of time packs your sessions and makes sure that the house is always full. And it creates like, all right, if we don't go now, we're going to have to wait a year. And I think a lot of people have FOMO and nobody wants to miss it, right? It's like, oh man, I know I should have went, I should have gone, I should have so doing this really creates like a let's go now, let's capitalize on this, let's do the experience. It's the holidays, if it's summer and it's like whatever music festival you're doing, if it's, I think I have like the fire pit and s'mores during the winter with like, these are the things that people are like, I want to leave my house for. And it's not something that I'll just put on the calendar later. Like I want to go now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny, you talked a little bit about the Murder Mystery, which was really an engagement strategy to address the first quarter, which is always a real grind
Rough,
and
yeah.
a real challenge. But obviously creating programs with the season and being able to capitalize on whatever that moment is for
Mhm.
consumers throughout the year. Obviously, we know fourth quarter people are, money is no object typically,
Yes.
right? It's like I'm
It's not
buying gifts
real.
anyway, just
Mhm.
put it on the card. I'll deal with it in January. That's why the first quarter is such a grind, because everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I spent too much money. I need to pare it back. Um, so each season, each month has typically a different feel and projection based upon what your business model is.
Mhm.
So it's, I think, important to think about sort of the peaks and valleys and figuring out how can we totally own, January, February? How can we own June and July when we know people are away?
They're at the
What are the things
beach,
that we
yeah.
can do, right, to engage? And making that programming finite. You're totally right. I mean, it's always really fun to watch a ticketed program have its first or second sellout date,
Mhm.
because then the dominoes really do fall right
Yep.
at that point. I mean, it's all it takes is one or two sellout sessions, and then
Yeah.
people have that FOMO, right? And
Well,
they're
I
like,
mean, how many phone calls do we get? Do you have
"Yep,
any time? What about this day? Can you fit in 4 more people? And it's like it's a really neat feeling to be in demand, to have that many people want to come and spend their time with you. And again, I think that's like something that even as these things sell out, like yes, we're executing event, but I think there also has to be awareness of like they're choosing to spend their time
yeah,
with us. They could spend it
absolutely,
anywhere else, but they're coming here. So like that for me, I think is like already really neat that like in all the places y'all could spend your time and your money, you want to do it here. So I feel like that should be kind of like an incentive to execute at the highest level that you possibly can. Because if you think
mhm,
about your time and your energy and your wallet and where you're going to spend your money, right? Like
yep,
that's an active decision that you're making. Like you're choosing this business to support. My job inside of that business is to give you the best experience that you can.
yep." And I don't think there's a better example of that than Wine Club. And I know we talked
I
briefly
agree.
about Wine Club a minute or two ago, but
Mhm.
this isn't just a one-off event. This is a commitment to draw from my bank account,
Yep.
every quarter, every month, whatever it is that you're doing. And we all know that wine clubs are a critical revenue stream for
Mhm.
many, many wineries,
Yep.
because it does help navigate cash flow, and it does help continuously bring those customers to the forefront to allow for
Yep.
additional customer engagement. But for as many of the fun, good experiences like the birthday call, text, and email that I received from a winery, I've seen a lot of failures on this front as well.
Yeah.
And I think it'd probably be good to talk a little bit about those because you're given this golden opportunity when a
Mhm.
customer says, I want to be part of your wine club. And again, another episode for season 2. We haven't really done a full-fledged subscription-based wine club session, but we'll work on that. But don't just mail it in, no pun intended. How many times do I get a wine club shipment with nothing in it besides the wine and a packing slip? Drives me
Nuts.
insane.
Give
I
me
don't
the
care if you've
freebies.
got 2,000 members.
Yep.
Like you've got an
Yep.
opportunity there,
Mhm.
right? And this goes back to my point, Rach, about direct mail, right? Direct mail is like you still really can't flag direct mail for spam, right? You
Yeah.
can't ignore it. Like you're
Mhm.
still going to look at it and flip through it and say, do I want to open this or not? Or do I
Yep.
want to read this or not? So you're kind of stuck. Like you've captivated them. You've got
Yep.
their attention. With wine club, people get excited when wine shows up. So they
Yep.
usually, if you're like me, you tear it open the first chance they get to see what's in there and see what they sent you. And then if all you're doing is just dropping, a slip in there that
Yep.
shows the wines, a pick slip, I mean, what a missed opportunity.
Seriously, and getting wine is great always, right? Like it's not a
Yeah.
disappointing package to have arrive, but even still, there's still disappointment. Like you open it and you're like, all right. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like I love like stickers go such a long way. Please give me a sticker. I put it like my water bottle's covered in it. My laptop is covered in them. Like let me be a brand ambassador for you because you put some sick merch in with that. Like whatever it is, if it's a letter from the winemaker, if it's like something fun, if it's like a QR code for a video, like give me something that like lets me interact with this more than just out of the box and into my wine fridge. Like, I want there to be kind of like a little second step. Let me get the sticker. Let me get like whatever it is. If it's like a cool, I don't know, like just give me
A
something a
stopper,
little
a
extra.
wine key. It
Yeah,
doesn't need
wine.
to be
Oh my
super
God. Yeah.
expensive. You
No.
accidentally ordered, way more sunglasses than you thought, you
Give them
know,
to me.
put them
Yep.
put them in. Like use things
Hmm.
that you have. It doesn't
Yep.
need to be directly aligned with what the what the budget of the wine club is. It could
Hmm.
be, part of what your retail, your merch shop, your tasting room or e-commerce does. We had Ed Fuchik on from Tank Garage, right? And I was wearing my Tank Garage t-shirt so that when we joined Made Club so many years ago, what I thought was really cool was their first communication to you was pick out a piece of merch from our site. You want a hat? You want a shirt?
Hmm.
Like it's going to come with your next shipment. And again, the logistics in my mind, because I know how much of a bear, fulfillment can be, is like, oh my God, but it resonates.
Yeah.
It's effective. You already have the stuff.
Yep.
Then they get a chance to feel it and they're like, oh, this is really nice. Maybe I'll get one of these for somebody else down the road.
Yep.
And they're wearing it everywhere. They're little mini billboards walking around, or they got the
Yep.
stickers on their laptop, right? So it all builds brand, and there's going to be no other segment of your customer base that's as engaged as the majority of your wine club members.
Yep.
So
100%.
you got to lean into it, man.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
requires
it's
work.
yeah, they do so much work. I mean, how many wine club pickup parties have we had? This is my friend that's never been. I wanted her to come. I'm trying to
Yep.
get her to join. They join on the spot. They take wine home. And again, it's that domino effect, right? It's the ripple. One
Mhm.
person does it and then it kind of goes. But we had people, I mean, that are like, "Do you have any of this wine left?" And like then we get the cool opportunity to go to the cellar and pull something out and like create that for them because we know what they can offer us. So like why not go the extra mile for these people that are already putting in so much work to support your business?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's really great? Check out this segue, Rach. When some of those wine club members are, you find them, you stumble upon them doing an offsite event, like a
Mm.
fundraiser,
Mhm.
or something like that, right? Where you don't even need, you can just stand
You
there
don't
and
even need to
pour
say anything. You can
because
just stand there.
they're
Yep.
just like, oh my God, have you been there for this? Have you tried
Yes.
this wine? Have you done that? And we see
Yep.
that so often when we're engaging in the community. And that's sort of your last suggestions in this piece, right?
Mhm.
Was building those local partnerships and having a vibrant community presence. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean you need to answer the call to every donation request under the sun. You absolutely should be strategic about it. You should certainly spread the love, but give yourself opportunities to engage with the public. My
Mhm.
biggest recommendation always, if you're going to be giving a donation, you
Mhm.
should always ask, is there an opportunity for me to pour there? As opposed to just giving the wine outright, because there's so many reasons why, right? But
Yeah.
the biggest reasons why is you want the ability to engage. You want to
Mhm.
be the voice of your brand. You don't want it sitting behind a bar somewhere with somebody that doesn't know what it is,
Correct.
right? I mean, it's
Yep.
just, you might as well just throw it away because
Mhm.
you're going to get nothing out of it. Now, granted, like obviously, if it's for a nonprofit or it's charitable in nature, you obviously have the ability. It's obviously a write-off, but it's also great for that charity or nonprofit. But get more out of it, especially if
Sure.
it's local, right? This is
Mhm.
your chance. I always loved like networking events and programs that needed wine donated for a networking event. Stick me behind the wine bar. I'd
Yeah.
rather engage with people coming up to me because it gives
Yep.
me the ability to basically pitch them and talk to them about my product and my brand rather than navigating a room of strangers and feeling sort of weird trying to elbow yourself
Like,
in.
elbow your way in, and then also, like, to have somebody else pour your product that they don't really know, to be like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure," like, it hurts you in the long run, like, "Please, let me, like, tell you about what we're doing, let me tell you about our events, let me tell you about the local cheesemonger we have coming in to do whatever," like, you need to be the sounding board for your brand. No one else is gonna love it as much as you are gonna love it and be able to kind of capture that moment, you
Yep.
know? I
Yeah,
always thought it's fun. It's really I'm just like sitting here like listening to us talk, and I never thought that I was gonna be as pumped on the other side of this business as I am for like wine ed, but I'm like, this is kind of like my jam now. Like
yeah.
I'm pumped because it just goes such a long way and it's so important, and like, you know, there is so much emphasis on like the training and the ed and all this other stuff, but like watching this happen, I'm like, cool, we're firing on all cylinders now. Like, I'm pumped for the whole thing. Like, it's so cool watching
No,
this come.
I think you encapsulate it beautifully in your conclusion when you say that engagement is an ecosystem.
Yep.
You are absolutely right. All of these things and more, right, are imperative to building a brand that can sustain, endure, grow, and evolve.
Mhm.
But you all at the heart of it, you can't forget what gets you there, and it's
Yeah.
your customers,
Mhm.
right? It's your
100%.
it's your day ones. It's the people that just found out about you, and if you're able to continue to build out that customer base,
Mhm.
retain and build out that customer base, that will assure you success in the long term.
Yep. 100%. Absolutely.
Well, listen, January, February issue of the Grapevine magazine, beautifully written article by my dear friend Rachel Brown. And this one is I think a great cherry on top for season 1 of strategy sessions as we shift our sights on some interesting new topics for season 2. But
Season 2.
it's been a heck of a ride. If you have any questions about this or have any questions about the article or any questions about how Rachel and I and Thirsty Bandit can maybe help your brand figure out some of this, because while some of it's not rocket science, it still does require a little bit of thinking and strategy, and
Mhm.
it's always
Little
nice to have,
TLC.
yeah, different lens to view it through. Drop us a note. Otherwise, we hope you all have a great rest of the day, and as always, thanks again for listening to Strategy Sessions, everybody.
Yeah.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Strategy Sessions. Please like, comment, follow, and subscribe at Thirsty Bandit Co.